Hey Magic family, this is All Chip Damage of Magic the Gathering channel. Today we're reviewing the Lorwyn Eclipsed set with the release within a few days. Does Wizards make a strong impression to start the year off? And the Lorwyn Eclipse continue the value train that Avatar The Last Airbender started last year. So, with this set review, the goals are simple. One, does this set provide enough support for the Commander format, which is the highly most popular format right now? Two, are the cards interesting enough to collect for potential master sets? And three, which cards would potentially fetch a nice price tag on the singles market or add to your portfolio? As always, this channel is about bringing all the positivity we can to Magic the Gathering, whether that's being competitive, whether that's collecting, or just having fun casually with your friends. So, let's get started. So, when we're looking at whether or not this set supports Commander very well or at all, I think a couple things are to highlight some cards here. So, what I have up on the screen right now is Changeling Wayfinder. This set is geared towards Tribe, right? So, is it even accomplishing that? And I think it is. A couple of things that help support is shapeshifters, right? Because they count as every card type, creature card type there is, whatever value that they generate based on the added value from entering and whatever, if it draws your card or gets you a land, that's always a plus. But just the fact that it counts as that creature type is always a plus with those in your deck. So looking at Changeling Wayfinder, it's a changeling. When it enters, you search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. So great, right? It goes and gets us a land. It counts as a creature type that we may need. Moving on, we have a dead water shaper. Um, it's a merfolk, but not only that, what's interesting about that is it makes all your creatures that are tapped indestructible. So obviously, if you're a token deck or you're just a creature deck, you want to swing out and be aggressive. This helps in protecting those creatures. Rigid. This actually might be a commander that I'm going to build, mainly because it's in the Selesnya colors. And what it does is pretty powerful. If you flip her and to her transform, she taps for X green or white, where X is the number of creatures you control. Just that's just amazing, right? Powerful effect, mana and ramp is always a big thing when it comes to commander. So I think this adds value to being in the commander format. Crit swap, once again, another creature type, but not only that, is instant, which also counts as a creature, right? So its effect is exile target creature controls. Its controller creates a 1/1 colorless shapeshifter creature token with changeling. Not sure if that's going to be great or not, but hey, if you're doing graveyard recursion where the creature type in the graveyard is actually something that matters, this is one thing that will count towards that. Morning Tide's Light. I mean, any way to prevent damage dealt to you while also pretty much board wiping in a way. I mean, that helps as well. Personify, exile target creature you control, then return that creature to the battlefield under its owner's control. You create basically a shapeshifter. That's a great blink spell, and you get a creature type out of it. Risk. This is pretty much my favorite card that was previewed during the Magic the Gathering live stream. I think that's high on the board. I think what he does is very powerful. I think it's going to add value to the commander format. Harmonized Crescendo, creature types is what it's looking for. It has Convoke as an instant, so you're just holding up mana, and you're holding up creatures that aren't tapped, so that you can draw a bunch of cards. I'm a blue player. I love to draw a lot of cards, and when I make it easier to do so, it just feels even better. Mirror Form. I had to read this a couple of times. Each non-land permanent you control becomes a copy of target non-aura permanent. I mean, that's pretty much anything that's not an aura land, right? I mean, that's going to be huge. Interesting thing about it too is each non-land permanent you control becomes a copy of target non-aura permanent. So technically, it could turn into a land, right? You could ramp with this. Bitterbloom Bearer preview earlier. Don't have to explain much with that. I think everybody knows that's going to be a sought after card. As you can see, the price tag on it is $23. Twilight Diviner. I actually think this is going to be another good one. You get the Surveil too, and then whenever one or more creatures you control enter, if they enter or were cast from your graveyard, create a token that's a copy of one of them. This ability triggers only once each turn. I think that's going to be pretty good. I mean, it's 3 mana, it's a 3/3. You're going to Surveil too, so you get to dump something in your graveyard. There's a bunch of effects that you can cast for recursion at a low cost. I think it's going to see some play in commander formats. Collective Inferno, yeah, another Convoke, which is another thing that I like about this is Commander's about a lot of times having a bunch of creatures out and reducing spells with like spells like Convoke. I forget the one that's for artifacts, right, or affinity, things like that. Is always going to be helpful, and this one doubles all damage that sources you control the chosen type would deal. I think that's going to be amazing because it's not saying combat damage, right? Saying all damage. Lava Leaper. The reason why I have this on here is because people like to play Chaos all the time or do group hug or gifting things. So, one, all creatures have haste. And then whenever a player taps a basic land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of any type that land produced. Now, what's going to be very important as I was reading this is basic land, right? A lot of people in Commander will have a lot of non-basic lands. So they might not be able to get the synergy off of this as much as you would if you're incorporating it into your deck. Meek Attack. I like Sneak Attack. This one's cheaper. Well, actually, no, I think it's the same amount of mana to actually put on the battlefield. I think it's the same amount of mana to activate it. Actually, no, Sneak Attack is 1 red. But this is 2, and you get to put a creature onto the battlefield with power toughness 5 or less, and then you sacrifice it. It gains haste. I mean, that's dope. Bloom Tinder. Great reprint. I mean, huge reprint. As you can see over here, that's the $29 for, I think this is like, yeah, the special treatment. But looking at all the past ones except for the secret layer, like 30, 23, 24, $21, like it's had that consistency, and you can see now it's at $12 with the Lorwyn Eclipsed print. Celestial Reunion, I think it's going to be pretty good because once again it's talking about creature types, right? And based on the the mana value of it being X or less, right? You get to go tutor for a card, and then it comes onto the battlefield. That's a creature. I'm gonna specify creature. Mutable Explorer. One card that was preview. I don't think there's much to say here. Creature type. When it enters, you create a mutable token. I think that's going to be a lot more valuable than a lot of people are going to suggest about it. And looking at the price tag, it's at $3.50. Speculated, right? Anticipating. Moving on to special guests. Now, these are obviously chase cards. They're going to be kind of hard to get. Not kind of hard. They're going to be really hard to get. But amazing reprints that we're seeing here. Wine Prophets, right? I am a Merfolk player. This is one card that I don't have and is in my list to get one day, and did not anticipate this getting reprinted. But you could just see all the different reprints here. Idyllic Tutor, Bitterblossom, Goblin Sharpshooter, Devoted Druid, Leaf Crown Visionary. Keeps going on. Domain Gate, another expensive card before the reprint. These are going to be really good cards for the reprint. Now, we talked about does this support the Commander format, and I think it does. I think there's enough here for tribal base cards. There's a lot of cards I didn't put in here for the sake of timing, but if you look at the Kithkins, there's a lot of support for Kithkins, a lot of support for elementals. You have support for elves. There's a little bit of tree folk support I saw in there, but once again, the shapeshifters, the convoke, the choose a creature type things, those are things we really need in Commander because we were missing those to kind of push tribals. There are some tribes outside of elves and angels, merfolk, and a couple other ones that are main staples like dragons and slithers that don't have as many printed cards to support them. And I think this set is really adding value to that. So the other thing is, are there enough interesting cards for collecting, basically for a potential master set? I'm not sure. I will say I was kind of disappointed. If we go here to Scryfall, right, and we just here it is, the Bitterblossom Bear. Like, look at this. This is amazing. They should have did way more cards like this. Um, Especially with it being foiled, that's going to look amazing. If you think about dragons, the Tarkir Dragonstorm, right? They had some of their special treatment cards that had the same kind of effect on it, and texture, and foiling looked amazing on those cards. And I just feel like we missed the mark here. If we had more cards like this would have been amazing. I mean, looking at the special treatments, some of these are great. I'll be honest, I'm not big on like the kind of storytelling of like treatment that they added to it. I mean, if you like the art, I mean, I think you can go for it and try to like master set it. But I think there's enough cards here by themselves, just on the value of what they do, the price tags that they have, that it could be great to master set. This is a set that hasn't had, like, if we think about Lorwyn, the, the plane itself, we haven't been there in a very, 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 very long time. So maybe this is worth putting in for the master set collection. Now, the other thing is it worth the singles market and adding to your portfolio? I think it is. I'm one of those individuals that goes out there, they buys boxes of magic sets, right? End up with a lot of, duplicate cards, end up with some cards that are just really good, but I don't have a use for them. And I like to call that the portfolio. So far as looking at this set, I think this is going to be a nice add to your portfolio or your special binder that has like trades in it. Like I said, I want people to remember that this is a trading card game. You are able to trade cards. I think the single market has made us go out there and buy a lot of cards when we can be trading. And so whether you buy them is fine, whether you trade them, even better. But building that community, making sure you're putting your money where it's worth, right? If you got great cards, don't just sit on them. Use those for trade value. With that said, I'm looking forward to the set being released this week here on Friday, pre-release. Hopefully you all get out there, go to your local game store, buy whatever you feel like is cool, collector packs, play boosters. I was looking at some binders. I don't think any cool binders have come out, but the play mats I have seen some are from Ultimate Guard that I like. Um, I think there could be a little bit more to add to it because some of the plate mats were not based on a legendary creature. It was just kind of like some preview cards and things of that nature. But let me know what you think of the set. What do you think of my evaluation of the cards, the worth, the ability to collect for it? Let me know if you like the video. Anything to support the channel, leave it in the comments. If you liked it. Sorry. If you liked the video, hit like, hit subscribe, and hit the bell notifications once you do, so you can get more of this content. I'm gonna try my best to do more of these set reviews. As far as like the collector aspect and the commander report, I don't play standard as much anymore, but maybe there's an opportunity for that in the future if time allows for it. But other than that, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you here.